Greetings, everybody. Want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So today we're doing the series, this mini series we've been running now for 6 weeks. This will be the sixth week, which is the catalyst of the genre. What band got you started on that particular genre? The genre we're doing today is space rock, and the band that got it started for me, and probably the album that got it started for me, is this one by Pink Floyd. So up until this point, I didn't really know what the term space rock meant, and probably for a long time after this album, I listened to this album, I didn't know what the space rock meant, but I did like this album. This is kind of where Floyd kind of turned the corner for me. Up until this point, my experience with Pink Floyd was primarily with The Wall and a little bit with the Final Cut after it came out. But I just generally didn't like Pink Floyd at all because I based everything on what I heard off The Wall, which was an album I didn't really care for and didn't really want to know. But then I started, I had a friend who kind of liked Pink Floyd, and he was playing some stuff from Wish You Were Here, and then one day, probably in the late 90s, I was at a yard sale and somebody had this for $1, so I bought it, and then I started listening to it maybe a year or two after. I said, wow, this is very different than what I thought it was going to be like. And then eventually I bought Animals, and those between this one and that one, I kind of started liking this Pink Floyd a lot, and then somebody said, well, they're kind of a space rock band, or at least they were a whole bunch of genre band, but the album that kind of started it, I guess, for me would be Dark Side of the Moon, which has got a lot of space elements to it. And then, so I kind of started following space rock a little bit, not too seriously. At that time, I didn't even really think of it as space rock. It wasn't until I started the channel and that phrase was attached to Floyd, and then I started listening to other things that were recommended, Eloy, Hawkwind, maybe a little bit of Ostrich Tentacles as well. So, but primarily I think it started with Dark Side of the Moon and Pink Floyd, and that's where the genre kind of started for me, really. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this series that we've been now running for 6 episodes. This is the final one. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to give your own space rock band, who got you started on it, or do you even like space rock, you can put that, all those comments in the comment section below. So this will be the final episode, the final episode of the mini-series, the catalyst of the genre. And this is space rock featuring Pink Floyd. So hopefully you enjoyed the series. We will be back hopefully maybe next week or possibly the week after with a new series in this spot. So have yourself a good evening. Take care and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.